Welcome to the internet. It's a fun and wild place full of wacky stuff such as videos, websites, and all kinds of people. On the surface, it's lighthearted and full of joy. But if you dive deeper, you'll find another, darker side of the internet. Welcome to the Abyss. This is a series about reaching into the depths of the internet to try and make sense of what goes on down there. Some of it will be real, and some of it will be fake. Some things will be solved, and some won't. Welcome to Exploring the Abyss. The time is 2005. Three guys in their mid-20s published a small website called YouTube. It was a site that allowed users to upload and share their own videos, and they did just that. There were a lot of videos that stood out, and usually for good reason. Stuff like DIY, Let's Plays, and personal videos. Normal stuff that you would find in today's media. There's one video in particular that stood out though. Its name is Soup.avi. What in the world did we just watch? This video titled Freaky Soup Guy was uploaded November 26, 2005. Since then, it has been re-uploaded countless times and has gotten many new names. Now it goes by the name
Room Soup.avi.
There have been lots and lots of theories about what this video is. The most popular theory being that this man and his wife were kidnapped in the middle of the night. While starving the man and torturing him, the kidnappers chopped up his wife and put her in a soup. The kidnappers tortured this man by making him eat the soup and put on costumes to scare him. There is some merit to this theory. The man does look like he's trying to force down the soup as if his captors told him to do so, whether he knows what's in the soup or not. He does look like he's ready to puke and is trying his best not to eat it. There are chunks of the soup on the table, as the man seems to be trying not to consume them. The man also has a black bar edited over his eyes as it makes it harder to see who he is. He only starts crying when the guy in the costume starts patting him, or is he crying? Because it kind of sounds like laughing. People also say that he has blood on his chin, but it's very hard to tell as it could just be facial hair. This is the only evidence we have on this theory, because it is very likely that somebody just made this up, knowing people would blindly believe this theory. We can rule this one out as false. Another thing people like to say is that this video came from the dark web with no real evidence that it did, and we now know that it did not. We have a lot more information about this video thanks to a YouTuber named ReignBot. She was able to find out who created the costumes we see in the video, a man named Raymond S. Percy. He has appeared in a lot of Hollywood animation. He voiced Flash the Sloth in Zootopia, Gene in Wreck-It Ralph, and directed a few episodes of The Simpsons. She asked him some questions and we learned a lot more information. He created many stage performances, including one called Ray Ray. This involved people in costumes doing silly dances and performances. As you can probably tell, these are the same costumes that appeared in Room Soup. He named these characters Ray Rays. They were meant to symbolize loneliness, being misunderstood, and finding it hard to express oneself. After a performance, he found that a few of the costumes were stolen from the dressing room and he never found them. One day, he opened up his laptop to find that somebody had emailed him the Room Soup video. He would later go to upload it on YouTube under the name Freaky Soup Guy. He would get sent more and more clips. What these clips were is unknown, but one other did make it onto YouTube by another user, one called Children in My Mind. Funny enough, when I tried to find this video on the Wayback Machine, instead of a link, it gave me this file. I recognized it as JavaScript, which is the same thing used to make websites. After organizing it, I entered it into a software that could read it. Oddly enough, it came up with this, so I assumed it was removed by YouTube for violating their terms of service. I wasn't able to find it anywhere else, so dead end. I did find another lead. The account was briefly subscribed to another channel called Cromwell Town Hall. The account has only had one thing, this live stream titled Town of Cromwell Meeting. When holding things like board meetings, they live stream them here on YouTube. As it turns out, somebody forgot to turn the live stream. You can see people walking in and out of the camera occasionally, and even having meetings there. I thought maybe this could be a clue to the location of where Blank Room Soup was filmed, but that went nowhere. So, dead end for now. Let's discuss a theory and what we're going to assume is the truth. I'm sorry to tell you guys, but this video is most likely fake. The person who created the character Raymond S. Percy most likely faked the video to draw attention to his performance. If he meant to do this, it worked. There are a few reasons why I think this. His story about the suits being stolen doesn't sound incredibly believable either. While yes, it might be true, but there isn't any evidence to prove it nor deny it, I guess. It just sounds like a lie somebody made up on a whim. Another thing is this channel called ReignBot, which seems to be the official channel of Ray. This is our main source of information, and there's a lot, but not really any of it's relevant. The one thing that I do want to discuss is this video called Audition.
Oh, got it.
Okay, can we get the next one in?
It seems to be normal, but there's one thing I want to point out. The room surrounding it. White, blank walls. Seems familiar. I'm not saying that this is the location Blank Room Soup was filmed at, but it is a possibility. But not a possibility we will be exploring. Instead, I realized that Blank Room Soup was filmed in what looks like any other studio. This is a good indicator that whoever filmed this had access to a studio. The final thing that seals the deal is another thing that Raymond S. Percy said in ReignBot's video. He talked about how the characters in Blank Room Soup moved and behaved exactly how the Ray characters should. He also said that this is something that new actors struggled to nail down when rehearsing for performances. Taking a look at other performances, he isn't wrong, as the Rays in the Blank Room Soup video do behave like they do in other videos. To me, this is the final nail in the coffin. There was little to no reference material online for the people to study at the time, so unless they paid very, very close attention during Ray performances, then it would be hard to pull something off like this. This is another piece of evidence to support that Raymond S. Percy made the video. So I think we have an answer of what Blank Room Soup is. A marketing stunt made by a creator to draw attention to his product. It's a really good one too, and a solid piece of foreign media. Of course this might be real, but there is a lot of evidence to prove that it is false and no solid evidence to prove that it is real. If anything, researching this topic has taught me how dumb people are. People swear up and down that the theory about this man being kidnapped and tortured, forced to eat his wife, is factual despite having no concrete evidence whatsoever. The funniest thing to me is these two kids decided to recreate the video on April Fool's Day for fun. People took this really seriously, and you can tell by the like to dislike ratio. The comments are hilarious, with people saying things like, "I've never disliked a video on YouTube. You guys need to delete this video. This is not funny at all." And, recreating a video of a man that is tortured to eat his wife's organs is not that funny. Thank you, Baby Yoda is sus. Thank you for your input on this tragedy. These people are really fun to mess with. Of course, there's always one person with a brain that actually has some common sense in the comment. I guess that about wraps up the case on the Blank Room Soup video. Make sure to check out ReignBot's video as she did a lot of hard work. I'll leave it linked down in the description. If you have any other internet oddities that you would like me to tackle in the series, feel free to leave a comment as that would help me out a lot. I'll see you in the next one.